Hi everyone, welcome to Nurse Juke channel. So if you're just seeing my video for the first time and you're looking forward to relocating to abroad, nursing tips and lifestyle, then you are in the right place. So click on the subscribe button, like this video, and don't forget to share. Now let's dive into what we have today. So on my previous video, I made a post on step by step on how to relocate to Saudi Arabia as a foreign nurse. So today I'm going to share my own personal experience, how I started and ended this journey. Firstly, I got my international passport during my NYSC program in KB State. So international passport was not a problem for me. And then secondly, I went to a university, and then after graduating I did my 1 year internship program, which is 1 year experience, and I also did my national youth service scheme, which is another 2 years of experience. So with these two, I've gotten 2 years experience. I started applying for Saudi Arabia vacancy immediately after my youth service. So along the line, I got a job in a private hospital, and then I was working, and then also waiting on this one. So I used a recruitment agency, because we have an approved agency that can actually apply for you in this journey. So I used an agency, submitted my CV. I also submitted my work experience. I also submitted my international passport. I think these were the three things. My educational certificate as well. So these were the three things that I submitted, and my license too, to show that I am qualified for this position. So you need to draft your CV in an international standard or form. So while drafting your CV, make sure you fill in the important details that are needed in it. So during December, because I finished 7 April, so I had to start working. During December, I got an information that the Ministry of Health Saudi Arabia is doing massive recruitment. So I decided to apply. My agency already had my CV. When the time came, they shortlisted the names of those who are qualified to attend the interview, and my name was among. So during that time, I was working in Abuja. When the day for interview came, I went for the interview. The questions were not really hard. We had a written one, and we also had a viva, like they ask you questions and then you answer. So the written one was not so hard. You just read your general nursing exam question. Just read your general nursing. The questions they asked us were not, it was not that hard. They asked us questions in pediatrics. They asked us question in I think gynae. They asked us question in general surgical, maternity. Just read broadly, read everything you need to read, and you, after sitting for the exam, you pass. So after the written one, they shortlisted the people that made it on the written one, and my name was shortlisted. That was where we went for the oral interview. The oral interview, they just asked few questions. I think they asked me about if an emergency code red and code blue, code yellow, all those code things. So you should read it and know it. I think the question was on code something like, if I'm in code blue and a patient had resuscitation, what is my work or what is my role? I think that was what they asked me. And he asked one other question about my personal life. I think that was all. So we had to wait for some months before we got our offer letter. So because it was already December, Christmas, holidays, public holidays, everything, it's delayed a little. So our offer letter came out February. I think after Valentine, our offer letter came out. So when we saw our offer letter, we were so excited, we were so happy. They asked us to come for our biometric and our medicals. So we went for our biometric and medical March. I think second week of March was when we went for our biometric. So during your biometric, you are going to come with your international passport, and some of these documents that I've listed. You come with your passport, your license. You just come with a copy, like a photocopy of it, and your license, your nursing certificate, your bachelor's in nursing science certificate. And then when you come, there are forms they will give to you. There are some things written in Arabic they will give to you, translated in English, that you have to read, and then you fill the forms. After filling the forms, then you will submit. So our medicals was also done on the same day, although some people they ask them to come the following day. Like, it differs though, depending on your agency, right? So after that, we went for our medicals. They did tests, they collected our samples, they did liver function, they did VDR, which is syphilis, they did a HIV screening, they did urine testing, they did stool analysis, and all these hepatitis B, all these blood tests. They collected our samples and they did the test. So after some days or weeks or so, the results came out. We also did x-ray. We did chest x-ray so that they will check out for pulmonary tuberculosis. So these were what we did on our medicals and biometric day. Then after that step, we had to wait for our visa, because the same day we applied for our visa. So waiting for our visa to be approved, it took time because of the the Ramadan, the fasting period, Hajj, all those things. It took time, and finally our visa came out June. But all this process can take weeks. All this starting from the first step to the last step, it can actually take weeks. But our own delayed a little bit because of all these activities and all these things in between. So our visa came out June, and it was time for us to book our flight. Mind you, all these things were done by our agency. So our agency booked our flights, and then he sent us the ticket the day we were going to leave, and then we started preparing to leave Nigeria and to say bye bye to Nigerian wahala. So after booking, we got our tickets, and then we prepared, and then we traveled, and then we landed. So when we landed in Saudi Arabia, we did some documentation, because they received us at the airport, and then they brought us to our hostel, and then we did some documentation. They took us to where they call I think transit. I can't remember what it's called again. We stayed there. They gave us food, they gave us plenty things. There is kettle, there is fridge, there's everything there. I did some of the videos which I will be uploading for us to see what the accommodation looks like. So yes, I arrived Saudi Arabia, and then after some days we started working. We also did clearance in the hospital, we did tests, and then voila, I am now a Saudi semi-registered nurse. So along the line, I wrote my prometric exam. I did my mumaris. Mumaris is like registering with their nursing board. That is what mumaris is. After registering with their nursing board, then they will now give you a code which you will use and write your prometric. And then after writing your prometric, you pass your prometric exam, they will now give you your license. Before they give you the license, you have to pay for the license. So this is what my journey have been, and this is how my journey have been. Now the previous video I made, like I said, it varies with the agency, right? We were recruited directly by the Ministry of Health, so there was nothing really much. But if as an individual you are looking forward to migrate to Saudi Arabia, I would advise you follow that step. Write your Saudi council. I think they have a center in Ghana. That's for Nigerians that are watching this video. They have a center in Ghana. You can travel to Ghana and write the exam. Then your country, if you are watching from Cameroon, if you are watching from Tanzania, just make inquiry where you can write your Saudi prometric examination. After writing it, you're already a Saudi registered nurse, and then you start applying for jobs. So once you get your jobs, you will now migrate to Saudi Arabia. So you see, the process is not that hard. The only thing you need is agency. And also mind you that the agency have their own fee that they charge. And the fees they charge varies with agency. I think I paid higher, and some of my colleagues paid lesser, and you pay according to your years of experience. So I think I had about 2 or 3 years or sorry, 3 years experience, working experience, and I paid according to that. So you pay according to your years of experience, and then your agency will take it up during biometric and every other clearance that you need to do. Your agency will be the one to carry you through. Now I'm in Saudi Arabia. I have been working, and I'm so grateful to God for that. So if you are looking forward to working in Saudi Arabia, then you should start considering it, because as days goes by, they change some of these policies. Okay, I forgot to mention this data flow part, right? So when we were in Nigeria, before we did our biometric and medicals, we had our data flow. So the data flow was done by our agency. Like, everything is covered in the money that we paid our agency. So data flow verification and every other thing, we paid for it. But when we came here to write our Saudi council, we were the ones that paid for our Saudi council. But if you want to be a Saudi registered nurse, these are the steps you need to follow. In my previous video, I just shared how my own journey went. Yours might be different, but just know that these are what you should be expecting if you want to migrate to Saudi Arabia. So if you have any questions or any doubts, feel free to drop it on the comment section. I'll be making videos and I'll be answering your questions from your comment section. I hope this video helps someone out there. Thank you so much for watching.